Good evening, I'm Steve Pereira. You're watching Ben's TV, and this show's Quedia, a show where we explore all things queer and anything and everything media. Tonight we have with us two fabulous performance artists who, if you're around Melbourne, you're sure to have seen them. We're with ReVerse, Butcher and Fury. Welcome to Ben TV and welcome to Quedia. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Now, we did tape segments with your incredibly powerful poetry. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is what your source of inspiration is, because it's not just poetry, it's not just words, it's not just the verbal, it's the whole image, it's the whole conceptual thing. What is that about?
My source of inspiration is largely ReVerse Butcher, because she's my mentor, so I will palm that off.
Oh, thank you. Now you're leaving me with a whole question. And mostly, I just like to monster things. If they tell us it should be one way, then why? It's questioning everything. So.
But you've got a very specific look, though.
Yes, today I do.
So does your look change?
All the time.
All the time?
Yes.
Often unrecognizable between shows.
We were talking just before about the fact that a lot of people say, I think I know her from somewhere.
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
No.
But is that a chameleon type quality where you adapt to your environment,
Yes.
or is it just arbitrary? You just pick up a character and then you walk into the environment?
It depends on the piece itself, and it depends on what I'm trying to monster. So, and by monster, I just mean sort of messing with the dominant paradigm. So.
But the dominant paradigm changes so often.
That's why I have to change so often, and that's why Fury is
And so,
experiencing that.
what your bête noire dominant paradigm? What's your horror?
What is my horror?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Being, basically, I suppose, trying to be cisgendered again and trying to try and fit in as opposed to just do what feels right for me. That would be my personal horror.
So gender's an issue for you,
Yes.
and gender diversity. Is gender an issue for you?
I'm a staunch feminist, and I mean, a lot of the dominant paradigm that irritates me or that I am opposed to is to do with just subverting power. So gender, yes, has a lot to do with it, but
I think as well in both our works we have a tendency towards setting up gender and then deconstructing gender and playing with the ideas and the narratives of gender. I know that some of Reb's work and the stuff that we've done together has definitely branched into that.
Now, when we heard your pieces earlier and in the brief chat we had around them, I mentioned that the dominant mood seems to be one of nostalgia and sadness. And even though they're both fairly empowering, self-asserting pieces, but is there a sense of sadness around the state of the world?
oh yes.
And that infuses your work?
I think that, yes, the world can be a very sad place, but I think the reaction that I've been experimenting with lately is one of irreverence. It's not necessarily being cruel, but it's sort of doing it anyway. And just trying to be as kind to those along the way as you can.
Do you believe artists have social responsibility?
My word, yes.
And what's your particular responsibility? What do you see as your mission, if you have it?
To find the others.
To create a network of people who are on the same wavelength and who have similar interests in creating alternate narratives and alternate ways of being, so that the dominant paradigm is a little less dominant. And
to make room for them. Once you break through, you pull the others with you.
Yeah.
But the danger is, of course, that you end up setting a paradigm of your own.
And then you change
you
all
change
the time.
it.
And you change it all the time.
And then you mess
but
with that.
How do you know when to change? How do you know when you're getting too big, too powerful?
It depends on the paradigm, really.
It depends on, yeah. Basically, there's a quote, leave a false name, be legendary, art is crime, crime is art. It's, you just change the way you are all the time and nobody can copy you. It's simple.
That's amazing. Now, you've got a book there that you're going to talk about.
Yes.
Or show and tell. I love show and tell.
Yes. This is a project that keeps me busy at the moment. It's called On the Rod. And one of the things that I do is collage poetry. I work in 3 different streams of sort of creativity. And this is a book that I find slightly abhorrent. It started off as Jack Kerouac's On the Road. And
Which is the Bible for hipsterdom.
Exactly. Exactly.
You sacrilegious heathen, you.
Let me tell you, every single time I finish a page of this, I feel a goodness in my heart unlike any other, because I have expunged something terrible from this world, if not just once.
But what's so terrible about it?
There is no room for women in this book unless we are making sandwiches or having their babies. So I think that
but that's been true for generations. What's particularly about that book?
Have you read it?
Parts of it. No, I have to admit, I haven't read all of it.
The book is heralded as this mark of genius when it was written in a 5-day Benzogene trip in one go. It's not necessarily the artist's greatest work, but it's being heralded as this revolutionary thing, and it was revolutionary in its time, in its own way, but it only broke through men, and it suppressed women in a very clear way.
But one of the things about it was that it was pretty much a stream of consciousness based. So
yes.
There was no censor. It was purely this id that was coming up. Not the ego, whatever.
Ego would be more accurate.
Ego,
yes.
sorry. Field psychology 101. But it's purely an ego-driven exercise. There wasn't any other mentor to it. So in that case, it's honest. Does honesty have a...
Oh, yes, but I can still refute it.
This is still honest. Like, what Rev is doing is still honest. It's probably, like, more honest for where we are in our time.
And so. as a critique, it's great. But I'm just curious as to what your approach to the original source material was.
I think there's a dishonesty to heralding it as this sort of thing. I think that in order to engage with something, you have to be critical with it. And I feel like, as you mentioned with hipsters before, there's a tendency to accept the status quo of this book is good and not to be able to be engaged with it in a critical way.
And that's a good note to end on, that we need to be critical about everything we read and see and hear. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm sorry this interview is so short. I could have gone on for days. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're on Ben TV with Steve Pereira on Quedia. Thank you for watching. Good night.